Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. Worship Your holy name. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing Your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me.
Prayer. Dear students, kindly close your eyes and join your hands for God's blessings. Loving God, You are the source of all wisdom and knowledge. I submit myself to Your divine touch and inspiration. Help me to concentrate on my studies and enable me to remember all that I learn. Bless all the responsibilities of all the leaders, my teachers and parents. Amen.
Hi students, I hope you all safe and healthy. I am Sheba, your social teacher. In this video, I am going to teach you 8th Standard History, Unit 1, Advent of the Europeans. Learning objectives: to know about the kinds of sources of modern India, to understand the Portuguese trade interest in India, to know the colonial settlements of Denmark. Introduction. Many of the foreign travelers, traders, missionaries and civil servants who came to India in the 18th and 19th centuries have left accounts of their experiences and their impressions of various parts of the country. Sources of modern India. The sources for the history of modern India help us to know the political, socio-economic and cultural developments in the country. From the very beginning, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, the Danish and the English recorded their official transactions in India on state papers. Well-preserved records are very valuable to know about their relations in India. All these sources are used for historical writings. Kinds of sources of modern India. We can write history with the help of sources like written sources and material sources. Written sources include literature, travel accounts, diaries, autobiographies, pamphlets, government documents, and manuscripts. Pamphlets means a small booklet. Manuscript means handwriting books or documents. Second one, material sources like paintings, statues, historical buildings and coins. Europeans came to know about the immense wealth of India from the accounts of Marco Polo. Marco Polo is one of the travelers to visit in India. Written sources. Written sources is the evidence of written items. After the advent of the printing machine, numerous books were published in different languages. Hence, people began to acquire knowledge easily in the fields like art, literature, history and science. Archives. Archives is the place where historical documents are preserved. The National Archives of India is located in New Delhi. It is the chief storehouse of the records of the Government of India. It contains authentic evidence for knowing the political, social, economic, cultural and scientific life and activities of the people of India. Material sources. Many paintings and statues are the main sources of modern Indian history. They give us a lot of information and the achievement of national leaders and historical personalities. Historical buildings like St. Francis Church at Cochin, St. Louis Fort at Pondicherry, St. George Fort in Madras, St. David Fort in Kadalur, India Gate, Parliament House, President House in New Delhi are the different styles and techniques of Indian architecture. The National Museum in Delhi is the largest museum in India, which was established in 1949. One of the important material sources is coins. Coins are a good source to know about administrative history. The first coinage in modern India under the crown was issued in 1862. The Reserve Bank of India was formally set up in 1935 and was empowered to issue Government of India notes. The first paper currency issued by RBI in January 1938 was 5 rupee notes bearing the portrait of King George VI. In ancient time, there was trade and commerce relationship between India and Europe. There was a great demand for Indian spices like pepper, cardamom, ginger and many other spices in Europe. During Middle Ages, the trade relationship continued between India, Europe and other Asian countries. After the capture of Constantinople by the Turks in AD 1453, the land route between India and Europe was closed. It became imperative on the part of the European nations to discover new sea routes to the east. Portugal. The first European who came to India is Portugal. Portugal was the first to discover a sea route to India. Prince Henry, who is commonly known as the Navigator, he started the school of navigation and encouraged his countrymen to take up the adventurous life of exploring the unknown region of the world. Bartholomew Dias. He was a Portuguese sailor, reached the southernmost point of Africa in 1487. He was patronized by the King John II. Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama, another Portuguese sailor, reached the southernmost point of Africa. Cochin was the first capital of the Portuguese East India Company. The third voyage of Vasco da Gama was in 1524. He soon fell ill and in December 1524 he died in Cochin. Francisco de Almeida. After Vasco da Gama, in 1505, Francisco de Almeida was sent as the governor for the Portuguese possession in India. Almeida had the aim of developing the naval power of the Portuguese in India. He implemented blue water policy in order to establish the supremacy over the sea instead of supremacy over the land. Alfonso de Albuquerque. The real founder of the Portuguese power in India was Alfonso de Albuquerque. He captured Goa from the Sultan of Bijapur in November 1510. He maintained friendly relations with Vijayanagar Empire. The Dutch are from Holland, which also called as Netherlands. After their arrival in India, the Dutch founded their first factory in Masulipatam in 1605. This company captured Ambaina from the Portuguese in 1605 and established its supremacy in the Spice Islands. The most important Indian commodities traded by the Dutch were silk, cotton, indigo, rice and opium. The important factories in India were Pulicat, Surat, Chinsura, Kasimbasa, Patna, Nagapatnam, Balasore and Cochin. The Dutch lost their settlements one by one to to the English and was completely wiped out by the year 1795. The British. On 31st December 1600, Elizabeth, the Queen of England, granted a charter to the Governor and Company of Merchants of London to trade with the East Indies. The company was headed by a governor and a court of 24 directors. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir permitted the English to establish their factory in 1613 at Surat, which initially became the headquarters of the English in Western India. In 1615, Sir Thomas Roe was sent to Jahangir's court by King James I of England. He remained at Agra for 3 years and succeeded in concluding a commercial treaty with the emperor. Before the departure of Sir Thomas Roe, the English had established their trading centers at Surat, Agra, Ahmedabad and Bhuj. The East India Company built its famous factory known as Fort St. George in Madras, which became their headquarters of the whole of the eastern belt and first fort built by British. King Charles II of England received the island of Bombay as a part of his dowry from the Portuguese king on the occasion of his marriage with Catherine. In 1668, the East India Company acquired the island at an annual rent of £10 from Charles II. Fort William at Calcutta. The zamindari of the 3 villages of Sadanudi, Calcutta and Govindpur was acquired by the British in 1698. These villages later grew into the city of Calcutta. The factory at Sadanudi was fortified in 1696 and this new fortified settlement was named as Fort William in 1700. Presidency centers. The 3 presidency centers are Madras, Bombay, Calcutta. Danish. On March 17, 1616, the King of Denmark, Christian IV, issued a charter and created a Danish East India Company. They established settlement at Trangbar in 1620 and Serambur in 1676. Serambur was their headquarters in India. They failed to strengthen themselves in India and they sold all their settlements in India to the British in 1845. The French. The French East India Company was formed in 1664 by Colbert, a minister of King Louis XIV. France was the last European country to come India as traders. In 1673, the settlement of Pondicherry was founded by Martin under a grant from Shergan Lodi, the ruler of Bijapur. Pondicherry became the most important and prosperous French settlement in India. The French East India Company established factories in different parts of India, particularly in the coastal regions such Mahi, Karaikal, Balasore and Qasim Bazar. These were a few important trading centers of the French East India Company. Dupleix. Dupleix could arrived in Pondicherry as a Governor General of French. He had a high ambition of establishing French and its major power in South India. This ambition of Dupleix became the major reason for Carnatic wars between French and British.
Look at the map. European Trade Center. Which European came to India and settled here? The green colored portion is Portuguese. Okay, see, look at the map. Dio Daman. So west side Dio Daman, Basin. Okay, Goa, Cananore, Calicut, Cochin. All those are Portuguese settlement. And then French settlement is red color. Mahi, Pondicherry, Karaikal, Yanam, Balasur, east side Balasur, Chandranagar, and all French settlement. Rose color is Dutch settlement, okay, a pink color. See the east side Chinzura and south side Pulicat, Nagapatnam and all, it's a Dutch settlement. And black color portion is Danish settlement, okay, east side Serampur and south side Tranquebar. And the blue color is English settlement. See Agra, Ahmedabad, Broch, and Bombay, Salseth, and then Surat, and then here southern side Madras, and east side Hooghly, Calcutta, and all English settlement. So all those Europeans who came to India and made their settlement in India.
Today we learnt the value of historical importance. Thank you, children. We meet in next class.